Unless you've been living under a rock or perhaps haven't been following the Solana NFT industry recently, you guys probably might have not known about the OK Bears launch. This NFT basically shattered every record in the Solana book, including for volume, overall floor price, and so much more in just a matter of a couple of days. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about bears that aren't good, aren't bad, just okay. If you guys are new, you know what to do. Drop a like, subscribe, run it up, and let's get right into it. Alright, so forever ago in the NFT industry, aka about a week ago, this project basically sprouted up from pretty much nowhere, and people decided, hey, this project needs to be on my mint list. They have around 80,000 followers at the time. Right now they're sitting a little more, but at the time they had around 80,000 followers, and everyone at the time was just like, hey, wait a minute, where did this project come from? How did this gigantic NFT end up being basically the largest Solana drop of the year? Now, I looked at this project at the time, and I actually had it on my watch list for my Patreon subscribers, and one thing I noticed about this project was there's a very large supply. 10,000 bears. That is an awfully large supply for a project that nobody had really heard of up until around a week or two ago. But some way, somehow, they sold out right away, and take a look at this tweet here from Magic Eden. They mentioned the fact that 91% of secondary trading volume was on Magic Eden for OK Bears. That is a huge group of people who are using the most popular Solana platform right now, and again, you guys can see the number of transactions here at over 9,500. Then, of course, you get people like the co-founder of Solana here, Raj, who has made it as his profile picture. Plenty of celebrities here are making it as their profile picture. The whole Twitter is exploding after the mint, and the floor price is rising rapidly. But before we go any further, guys, let's talk a little bit about my Patreon. I have worked tirelessly to make this the best NFT group out there. By joining my Patreon, you guys get literally an insane amount of content. You'll get a custom Discord role, direct access to me in a DM, full access to Matt's NFT dojo, crypto and altcoin trade signals, access to my exclusive NFT watch list, whitelist opportunities, priority access to my live streams, and so much more. To be honest with you guys, I think it's a steal for only $10 a month. And of course, if you guys would like to talk to me over voice in a voice call, you guys could always join the Emerald and above tier, which has that offered. Currently, there are hundreds of people joining the Patreon every month, and they absolutely love it. Link down below in the description. So OK Bears surges up to a floor of around 180, 190 Solana, and at that point, people are like, okay, what's the deal? So there was a lot of overall FUD and skepticism, and to be honest with you, it was somewhat warranted. Now, a lot of these people were just salty about the fact they did not mint this, and including myself. I was like, hey man, this sucks. This was not on my mint list, and I missed it. I'm such an idiot. But once I got past that, and I think a lot of people also got past that, there are legitimate reasons as to why people were kind of skeptical as to how OK Bears had managed to climb to such a high floor price so quickly. The main thing is, of course, the fact there wasn't any execution of the roadmap yet. There was no reason for people to believe that OK Bears would be this successful, and we start to enter territory like a lot of other cryptocurrencies. In the same way that Shiba Inu and Dogecoin had an incredible run, and so many other cryptos out there, OK Bears was just too popular for no reason. And I think that upset a lot of people, and once you come to grips with reality that, hey, that happens sometimes, you start to understand where this came from. So you take a look at the floor price for OK Bears. Right now it's sitting around 100. That's still very high, but watching this climb past a floor of 170, 180, 190 all at once is honestly pretty insane. If you take a look at their site, it's not a bad website by any means, and their roadmap looks to have some decent things involved in it, but just about everything that is planned on their roadmap here hasn't actually been done. They mentioned some real-life pop-up exhibitions. They mentioned a lot of different things they plan on doing, including keynotes, conferences, meetups, tons of different things that they planned on doing here. IRL OK Bears stores, which is crazy. Something with their token and integration of Web3 and Shopify. A lot of cool stuff here that looks to be in the pipeline, but the thing is, nobody knows whether or not they're going to actually do this. So after we see this insane run up to around 170, 180 sold, that's when the normies get wrecked. You guys will notice right now, the floor is a lot lower than that, roughly at around 100, and to be honest with you, I think it may stay here for a long time, perhaps even bleed a little bit more down into the 70s or 80s, and this is where a lot of people are sort of missing the idea on Solana NFTs. You would have made a lot of money if you would have minted this. You would have made a lot of money even if you saw certain whales talking about it at 20 or 30 Solana. But to buy this after it has basically made every news round on the internet, after it has basically gotten everywhere at a floor of 180, you really weren't going to make a lot of money on that. That is a scenario which I evaluated and said, man, the risk to reward here is just too high. Why not buy a proven project like, say, DeGods that has been hanging out at a high floor of over 200 Solana, or Solana Monkey Business that seems to have a reputation of already being at such a high floor price, not a volatile pump through Twitter. Now, of course, you'll notice with the higher supply at around 10,000, you're going to have great activity here. But the activity that we're seeing right now is nowhere near the activity that we were seeing at the time. People were buying literally 20, 30 bears per minute. The Magic Eden counter couldn't even really keep up, and actually Solana ended up going down right around the time of this pump. That sort of initiated a lot of FUD and a lot of overall concerns about the future of the Solana network, as to every time there's a popular collection, something seems to go down. Now, it looks like Solana has done some things to try to fix that, including some issues that were solved by a lot of validators at the time, but that brings up the question, should you spend this much money on an NFT on the Solana blockchain? Now, I personally believe in Solana, and I like it, but unfortunately, that sort of timing led to a lot of people getting skeptical about the future of OK Bears, leading to a very fast dump. The floor went from, again, 180 to down to roughly 70, 80 in really around an hour. So people dumped these as fast as you could possibly imagine, and right now the listing counts are going up. The floor price really isn't headed in a great direction, and unfortunately we are watching the results of a project that just gets a little too pumped a little too fast. Now, once again, folks, this is not to say you are ignorant if you purchased OK Bears, because there was a very good reason to believe that this would be the largest project on Solana. There was unprecedented volume, unprecedented history and community around this project, and again, there was really every record broken in just a matter of a couple of days. This was an anomaly in every way, shape, and form. But now that we look back at this in retrospect, it was not a wise decision to purchase this at such a high price. And to be honest with you, I would be very skeptical about purchasing one now, given the fact that there is such a volatile run going on here. I don't think OK Bears has the community, the roadmap support, or the overall notoriety to support such a high floor price like this. Now, it may one day, and they would have a lot to brag about, including a lot of records they set for the history books, but to be honest with you, I feel like right now there is just too much risk here without enough reward. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you feel like you learned something. Make sure to check out my Patreon down below in the description. Folks, this did make the Patreon watch list, so if you would have been following my watch list, you would have minted this, and you could have made some crazy money. Again, I'm very mad at myself for being lazy and skipping out on a handful of mints that I select from time to time, and this just happened to be one of them that I skipped out on, and I'm very upset about that. But again, guys, you just live, you learn, you do the best you can, and that's kind of what I wanted to go with in today's video, just to kind of teach you guys, at least in my opinion, where some people made money, where some people got wrecked, and just kind of an overall overview of how this project got so popular so fast. So with that being said, my name is Matt. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.